Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. I know we're waiting patiently for Season 1 to come to Chaos Zero Nightmare, 3 new characters about. Listen, let's just say it came to me in a dream, and I'm going to have to reference this dream journal throughout because it's definitely a dream journal and not somebody going through Yuki's entire kit. So, I'll give you the TLDR. Yuki's coming out. She's going to be on the banner, and she's going to have... in my dream, 1000% just a dream, the 4 stars on there are going to be your boy Luke as well as Nia. All right, so if you're looking for some 4 stars there, Nia's going to be there. Hopefully this means that like Cassius will be on the Chizuru banner, if that's going to be a thing. But the TLDR of the kit that I dreamed of in my dream for Yuki, she's going to play very similarly to someone like Rin. So if you already had like a Void Element team, a Void Element character, you were kind of interested in Rin, but you didn't have either access to Rin or you didn't need another Void DPS character, then, well, this character is going to be Justice Element for you. And she's got a lot of very similar cards to Rin. Her whole playstyle and her whole partner, their specific 5-star partner that you can pull on as well, is all about her getting bonuses for using some of her skill cards to draw her own cards out of the deck, which sounds really good already, because a character who can facilitate their own game plan with card advantage is pretty nice. So if you can get some nice ego skills activated to draw them out and help her even more from some of your supports, right? Like if you pair her with someone with a ranger card, that's going to be nice as well. I think it's Rosaria, but also she's going to have all of that card draw stuff in her kit as well. So someone who can generate AP for her to allow you to play the cards multiple times in one turn. Very similar in situational to the likes of Rin. There are a couple of, if you see it yourself, the Dream Journal, a couple, I think, typos in here, because one of her cards is like when you self-draw your card, your next attack does an extra 20 hits, which is a little wild there. Her ego skill is very similar to Rin's as well. It's like a 300 mod, but it's AOE, and it does like a little bit of vulnerable as well. Very similar to Rin's in that regard. She's got very basic cards. She's got the draw a card for 0. Do some bonus damage on your next action. What she doesn't have, though, like Rin, from what I've seen so far, is if you weren't a fan of Rin, or in my dream that I saw, if you're not a fan of Rin's whole gimmick where she has to be in the blade stance and no one else can cast attack cards, or you're punished and you lose a bunch of the ability to either play cards for Rin or get bonus damage on all your cards, that's not really a thing that this character seems to suffer from. And so she doesn't really have that gimmicky mechanic that Rin has, but she does seem to have one of her own sort of gimmicky mechanics as well. I keep seeing this word inspiration, and because she has the ability to draw so many of her own cards, I'm assuming that inspiration is something that triggers an effect when you draw that card that turn. For instance, there's several stuff that's like, hey, inspiration plus 100% damage, inspiration minus 1 AP cost, inspiration plus morale for the turn. And because she's got so many different skills and things that can draw her own cards out of the deck, I think that's how her gimmick is going to play out, where you're going to use those cards. You're not going to know exactly which ones you're going to get a lot of the times, but if you draw them out, thanks for the subscription, draw them out of the deck and get the one that you want, or get one that has inspiration, it's going to have that effect for that turn, and it's going to want you to play that card for that turn. So you could end up with a little bit of jankiness, I suppose, in some situations, right? Where maybe you don't have enough AP to play all the cards. Maybe you have like 3 of her draw cards with 3 AP, and you draw 3 cards, all of them inspiration, but they all cost 2. And you don't have 6 AP to play them all. So that's going to be something to work at in deck building, I think, according to the Dream Journal here. And I think that's really what her main gimmick is going to be. But she seems like she's going to be right up in that alley of hyper aggressive, hyper self-sufficient DPS. So like she's got like an upgrade here that's just a unique upgrade, passively sits there forever, and it's 150% damage to your own card, the last one that you drew this turn. So like if you draw a card and you don't use it right away, you're gonna miss out on that bonus. But if you play one of her skills, draw a card, it's an inspiration card, you're gonna play it right away, you'll get the inspiration bonus, you get the damage bonus from her own upgrade thing, and then maybe you play another one of her skills, draw an inspiration card, get the inspiration bonus active because you just drew it that turn. And because it's the last card you drew that turn, then you'll get the damage bonus increase from some of her upgrade stuff as well. That's what the dream said. That's what the dream said. The partner here in the dream, it's specifically, literally, both the ego skill and the passive. The passive gives you buffs if you're playing cards that you drew with your own ability that turn. It's not even draw that turn. It's if you drew a card with your own ability. So you can't just pair her, use this partner, her 5-star partner, pair her with like Cassius or Nia or something and draw a bunch of cards that way with like Adagio or some of the Cassius quest rewards, and then get the bonus from the partner activating. She has to draw her cards with her own effects, her own cards. And then the EP skill on this as well is very weird because it will move one card from your hand to the draw pile, and then it will draw one of the assigned combatants cards. So like if you have this on Yuki, you activate 3 EP, you're gonna pick a card from your hand, you're gonna put it back in the deck, and then it's gonna draw one of her cards out of the deck, not necessarily the same card. And you'd be like, that seems really weird, it's not card advantage, we have so many different things that just draw us cards. Well, it's a way for you to get a card with inspiration in your hand that you didn't draw from her own ability that turn. That might even be what that keyword means, like you have to draw it with her own ability back into the deck, so then you can then draw it with, I guess, the partner ability or one of her own cards as well to re-trigger the inspiration. So I'm not sure exactly if inspiration is going to be draw that turn or draw with your own ability that turn, because if it's not just draw with your own ability, if it's just draw period, she seems to have a fair amount of ways for you to card draw, put cards from your hand on top of the deck to then draw them again and trigger that inspiration. There's a lot of broken text in these dreams as well. But she seems like she'd be pretty alright. She'd be pretty alright. And she's not Justice, she is like the green element. I always mess it up. Whatever the green one is. She's the green element. Okay. I said Justice. She's not. Is that Justice? Is Justice green? Yo, just peeking through some of the dream journal notes here for some of her manifest egos, so we can get some more inspiration information here. Like drawing a card at the start of the first turn, owned cards inspiration effect is activated. Increase owned attack card damage by 30% for 1 turn. That's some butchered English. You guys really need to get on this in the dream journal. But yeah, this is another thing that really wants the owner's card to draw their own card with their own effect. Every time own card is drawn with an ability, gain 1 buff of something dance, and it's going to give you 10% owned attack card damage for 1 turn with maximum 2 stacks. So she really is just all about drawing her own cards, doing her own thing, and just kind of being and facilitating this like fluid sort of gameplay sword style, which is kind of funny because she uses that giant katana. So I think she's going to end up pretty good potentially, because she's got so many ways to draw cards and so many cards that you want to have inspiration on. I think she's going to be pretty tricky to put together deck building style at the end of the day, just like what it is with every other DPS character. I think focusing in on, if you're trying to put a positively broken deck for her together, focusing in on like 1 or 2 cards, because like we said, there's cards that draw her own cards that even specifically draw cards out of your deck with inspiration on them, but not specific cards. So maybe you want to put in some of the cards that have inspiration that get cheaper, or some of the cards that have really low costs that are like 0 or 1 costs that have inspiration to just get like 150%, 200% damage bonus, right? Even bigger if you have like the upgrade effect that you can play for 1 with her for the rest of the battle, which gives you like 150% for the last card you drew with your own ability that turn, where you can just like 3 or 4 cards from hers that draw cards, and then 3 or 4 cards that have inspiration, and just cycle through them really fast and build up maybe quest stacks for Cassius, maybe have someone with a marked thing going on, maybe like, I don't know if Selena would work well in there, but maybe a future character in there that benefits off of you playing multiple cards in 1 turn in that regard could make you a pretty awesome. Actually, Hugo sounds like it'd be kind of insane. You could do like Hugo instead of Tressa maybe, and just use Hugo with Yuki instead of Hugo with Tressa and try something of that nature. Like Nia, Hugo, Nia Hugo Yuki actually sounds kind of hot out there, but this has been pretty fun. I'm looking forward to seeing more stuff with this character being fully released, and we'll be taking a look at that once we have all of the details, and we'll see just how accurate the Dream Journal was, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said out there, God bless. I couldn't show anything because we fear, I don't know how Smilegate actually treats leaks. Like, it's a dream, it's not a leak. I don't know how they treat dreams like that, okay? All right, bye.